Welcome to the Non-Negotiable Living podcast, where we're building lives by design by creating non-negotiable habits around fitness, family, faith, and financial freedom.
Hey friends, welcome back to Non-Negotiable Living. Today's episode is going to empower you with some knowledge about something that gets tossed around in the fitness space a lot, but rarely gets explained in a way that actually helps women understand it. So what we're going to talk about is body types. We're diving into what an ectomorph, a mesomorph, and an endomorph is, what they are, how they tend to look, how each body responds to training and food, and most importantly, how you work with your body and not against it. Because here's the truth, your body type is not an excuse, but it's a starting point to understand where you're at and what you are going to be predisposed to from a body perspective. So let's break it down. First off, what are body types? So back in the 1940s, a psychologist named William Sheldon introduced the idea of somatotypes. We call them body types. But he classified people into three categories. An ectomorph, which is naturally slim. You think about these people as having like long, lean limbs. And mesomorphs are naturally muscular, athletic, and tend to gain muscle easily. Endomorphs are softer, curvier, and gain weight easily and lose it more slowly. Now, most of us aren't 100% one type. We're often a blend, but knowing your dominant traits can help you stop comparing. And ectomorphs are the naturally lean body type. They naturally have longer, lean limbs. Think narrow shoulders, slim limbs, low body fat, smaller bone structure. These are the women that are often told, "You're so lucky, you can eat anything and stay skinny." But here's the struggle. Ectomorphs have a really hard time building muscle. They might feel very skinny fat because they're thin, but they lack muscle tone, so they don't have much curve and definition to their body. Their metabolism tends to run fast and they burn calories easily, but that can also mean that they underfuel without realizing it. So the best approach for fitness and nutrition for ectomorphs is to focus on strength training with progressive overload, limiting excessive cardio because their metabolism naturally runs faster, and by doing excess cardio, they're burning more calories, needing more calories, and it makes it harder for them to build muscle. Making sure that they're eating enough, especially from a protein and complex carb perspective. And then recovery is key because oftentimes ectomorphs will overtrain in order to try and achieve their body goals, but in reality, it's just the wrong kind of training paired with the wrong nutrition. So if you're an ectomorph, lifting heavier weights and eating more than you think you need is typically what's going to bring you the changes that you need to get your body looking the way that you're expecting. Next is mesomorphs. So they are the ones with the naturally athletic build. I'm a mesomorph. So mesomorphs typically look more athletic naturally. They're typically broader shouldered, strong legs, defined muscle tone. Even without a strict training program, they might be the kids that you remember from like middle school who had like quads and like biceps, and it was just because they played soccer and sports like everybody else, but they looked naturally more muscular. So the struggle is while mesomorphs build muscle easily, and they can lose fat more easily because they build the muscle more easily, they can also gain fat quickly if their nutrition is out of balance. So mesomorphs tend to put on body fat very quickly, and they can see results quickly from exercise, but sometimes they can overdo it and burn out. So the best approach to fitness and nutrition for mesomorphs is to strength train 3 to 5 days a week, doing moderate cardio, so you don't want to overdo it, but you also don't want to do too little. So a lot of times, maybe 1 to 2 hard cardio sessions a week, and then daily walking is the best approach. And a balanced approach to macros, so protein, carbs, and fats spread out pretty, well dispersed. If we overdo it on carbs, as mesomorphs, we tend to hold a lot of water weight and put on fat pretty quickly. But keeping stress and cortisol in check because it impacts our ability to maintain our lean muscle mass. So a tip is for mesomorphs, they can build a strong toned body quickly with the right plan, but you have to stay consistent with it. They can also lose their gains very quickly. So avoiding overtraining is the secret sauce. Endomorphs are considered like the curvy powerhouses. So endomorphs tend to have rounder or softer appearance, often wider hips, a shorter build, a tendency to carry fat in their lower body. So you think hourglass or pear-shaped figures. Now the struggle is losing body fat tends to take longer for them. They may feel like they gain weight just by looking at food. Their metabolism tends to be a little bit slower, and they can also be more insulin resistant or have more insulin sensitivity. Endomorphs can build serious muscle, though. They're often very strong, stronger than they anticipate when they're consistent with their exercise. So the best approach to fitness and nutrition for an endomorph is strength training with high-intensity intervals of cardio, walking, and low-intensity movements for fat loss, emphasizing high protein and high fiber to help stabilize their blood sugar levels. Oftentimes, endomorphs are highly impacted by a lot of carbs, and sometimes implementing carb timing can help them. So fewer simple carbs and more complex carbs, especially on their workout days. So if you're an endomorph, one tip is that walking daily and lifting consistently is going to be your best friend. You can absolutely build a strong, lean body, but it's going to take more intentional effort with your nutrition. So let's talk about a few common misconceptions. So as an endomorph, they often think, I can't lose weight. And that's not true. It's just that it takes more consistency and a specific strategy to ensure that they're not overdoing it on their macros. For ectomorphs, it's often the idea that they don't need to work out, which is wrong. They need to build muscle just like everybody else for longevity, strength, and metabolism so that they don't have that skinny fat look. Mesomorphs, the idea is always like they have it easy because they build muscle quickly. But it may look that way, but every body type has its challenges. And for mesomorphs, it's that they can build quickly, but they lose their results quickly as well if they don't maintain the work consistently. So I'm sure you're over there thinking, okay, what's the point of this? But it's just the idea that your body type isn't a limitation and it's not an excuse. But it's worth acknowledging the fact that when we look at other people, sometimes we think, gosh, I wish I looked like that. As a mesomorph, I've looked at ectomorphs and thought, God, I wish I was tall and skinny. I wish that was my body type. But it's not, and I can't change that. So just being cognizant of the fact that your body type is a genetic thing. Obviously, we can all improve. We can all lose more body fat. We can all build more muscle, increase our metabolism, balance our hormones, lower our cortisol. But our baseline body type is not something that we're going to be able to change. And being cognizant of that helps us stop the comparison game. Just know that it's part of your blueprint. So it's something that you have to work with and not fight against. So when you know your tendencies, you can stop doing what works for everybody else and start doing what works for you. So you can train smarter, eat better, recover more intentionally, and start seeing results that are meant for your body and not something that was meant for somebody else who's a completely different body type. So if you're ever feeling stuck in your progress, frustrated that your body doesn't respond like your friends does, remember this. There's no one-size-fits-all approach to health. Your body's unique and your journey should be too. That's why with my one-on-one coaching, we custom design each program for each client so that they're getting the results that they want and they need for their body type and where they're at in their stage of life. So if you need help building out a fitness and nutrition plan that works for your body type, your life, shoot me a DM or head to the link in my bio because I'd love to support you on this journey and actually get you the results that you've been after. So thanks for listening today. If you found this helpful, please share it with a friend. Until next time, please keep making your habits non-negotiable. Keep working towards the life you're after and that 2.0 version of yourself. You guys got this.